Mahavyaghro, a mighty Bengal tiger, is the mind. It is moving about in the forest of sensory objects. Don't go near. It's a dangerous animal. Don't go near him, he says. Charatyatuna gachantu sadhavo. Those who want to be good, don't go near that tiger. He says, yo mumukshavaha. If your desire is freedom, don't befriend that particular mind, which is moving about in the world of one's own appetites, satisfactions, no concern for others. That kind of mind is a dangerous mind. Don't go near it if you want freedom. We have got political freedom only because the British left. We are not truly free. There is a new development that has to come. That mind has not come. So be careful about going to that tiger of the mind which is of this nature. Manaprasute prasute vishayan asheshan thulatmana sukshmataya cha bhoktuho sharira varnashrama yadi bhedan gunakriya hetuphalani nityam. Mind creates all this. What are they? Vishayan asheshan. This is attractive to me. This is attractive to me. The mind goes on creating. This I don't like. This I don't like. Its likes and dislikes full. It creates all this. Then, sthulatmana sukshmataya cha bhoktuho. Gross pleasures, subtle pleasures, all the mind manufactures and puts it on this and that and that. Similarly, sharira varnashrama yadi bhedan. This particular body, then I belong to this caste, this community, this race. All these distinctions also the mind creates for you and me, limiting us, though we are truly the unlimited. That's the function of the mind. Gunakriya hetuphalani nityam. Qualities, actions, hetus and phalas, cause and effect, all this conglomeration. The mind does everything. And it creates my world, your world, etc., etc. Asanga chidrupa mamum vimohya. Dehendriya pranaguna nibadhya. Ahammameti brahmayat yajasram. Manap sukrityeshu phalobhavuktishu. This mind deludes this Atman behind. That is your true nature. How? Asanga, he is really unattached, this self within man. Chidrupa, the nature of pure consciousness. He deludes this self, puts it into a sort of hypnotic condition, the self. The mind does it. Dehendriya prana gunair nibadha, and ties the Atman down to this deha, indriya, prana, etc. into that. Tie him with a rope of sattva rajastama. Ahammameti brahmet tajasram. And in the name of the Atman, the mind goes about, I and mine, with that attitude. He is the real actor. The real Atman is nowhere present. I am everything here. That kind of experience you have. Manaswagrityeshu phalobhapuktishu. Carrying the self for its activities and enjoying the fruits of those activities. Mind is the instrument that does everything. Adhyasa doshat purushasya samsrutihi. Adhyasa bandhas tvamaneva kalpitaha. Rajastamo doshavato avivekino. Janmadi dukkhasya nidanametat. Man's birth and death, all these movements up and down, all these are done by the mind itself, by creating the spiritual blindness first. And all these projections the mind does, that instrument has to be handled very carefully. After all, an instrument can be handled wrongly or rightly. Give the instrument of a sword in the hand of a child, it will cut its own hand and body. It has no discrimination. But in the hand of a great able person, it can be a very useful instrument. So the mind as an instrument needs to be handled by a little wisdom. That is the product of this Viveka mentioned in this book. Ataprahur mano avidyam. Therefore the sages say, mind is called ignorance. It is the very name of ignorance is mind. Panditas tatodarshinaha. Those who know the truth, as wise people say, what is ignorance? Mind is ignorance. Yenaiva brahmite vishwam, by which the whole universe is told about like this. Vayunena abhramandalam, just like a wind carrying a cloud from here, there, everywhere, this mind carries our universe of experience. Without our saying the matter, goes on, goes on, goes on. So up to the mind if you come, this is the experience you will have. Therefore, and manashodhanam karyam, prayatnena mumukshana, vishuddhe sati chetasmin, mukti karaphalayate. This mind should be properly disciplined and purified. Manashodhanam karyam, prayatnena, with a great effort. Say what we call education. Mostly is stuffing the brain and not training the mind. When you train the mind, you get discrimination. You get efficiency. The same world can make you free. But with the other mind, world becomes your enemy. Everything becomes your enemy. So when you train the mind, everything is wonderful. Education that trains the mind is what we need. At present it is not. Just stuffing the brain. Mind is left as it is. So we commit all sorts of blunders. There is enough suffering in the world. This mind adds some more to it. That's what we are experiencing in post-independence India. Vishuddhe sati chetasmin. When this mind becomes truly pure, well-disciplined and pure, mukti karaphalayate. Mukti becomes like a fruit in the palm of one's hand, as palpable. You know it is there. Nobody can make you doubt it. This is a famous expression in Vedanta. Mukti karaphalayate. Karatala nyasta amalagavat. Like an amalaki in the hands of one's hand, in one's own hand. So palpable. Somebody says there is no amalaki. You are not worried. It is there, you know definitely. That kind of conviction comes to you that I am free. I am free when the mind is properly purified and disciplined. So, mokshayika saktya visheshu ragam nirmulya sanyasya cha sarvakamma satchradhayaya shravanadinishto rajasvabhavam sadhunoti buddhehe. Now we come to buddhi, beyond the mind, more evolved, is called buddhi, reason, understanding, judgment. At the manas level, reason and judgment is much less, just elementary. When you come to buddhi, you come to the level of reason and judgment. With this, we shall enter into the description of the next kosha known as Vijnanamaya kosha. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. Now two more koshas are there, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. These two koshas are studied in the next verses. Then we deal with the Atman, which is inside all the five koshas. There the student will ask some very pertinent question, very interesting, highly beneficial for our day-to-day life and human relationship. Today is the last day. Time also is up. And I found this is a good location just to end this year's study of the VIVEKACHUDAMANI. Among the koshas, we studied three koshas, fourth and fifth, and what lies beyond, we shall do next year. Durlabham trayame vetat deva anugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samsayah. Three things are difficult to obtain. First is manushyatvam, human birth. Second is desire to be free. We can as well get stuck up at our sensory level, eat and drink and be merry, or do some wicked deeds and then die away. But if ever the desire arises, I must utilize this human birth to seek for truth, achieve fulfillment, and be free. That will be a wonderful new gift that you get in life. That's called second, mumukshutvam. But finally, we need guidance in this uncharted road that comes from one who has realized the truth. Mahapurusha samsayah. This is the urgency that VIVEKACHUDAMANI introduces to human life in search of truth. Man in search of truth. Man in search of a true life, not a fake life. When you know the truth, life becomes true. If you don't know the truth, life becomes a fake, a false life. So this sloka is very important in this VIVEKACHUDAMANI. Similarly, the greatest emphasis this book places on the individual himself. You are responsible for your destiny. Place, circumstance, these are secondary. Are you a living mind, a living soul? Then everything will be all right. Put a living seed in the soil. Then put water and manure. Then that seed will grow into a mighty tree. But you put a dead seed, plenty of water and manure you put there, it will never grow. So, Shankaracharya puts emphasis on that sincerity in the candidate to seek for truth. Adhikarina mashaste phalasiddhir visheshatah upaya deshakaladhya santyasmin sahakarinaha. Desha, Kala, etc. Time, place, etc. These are only auxiliary, not primary. Primary is yourself, the candidate. He or she is strong in resolve, is hardworking, sincere in search for truth. When this is done, moral qualities develop in the individual. Search for truth needs certain moral qualities in the individual. They are discussed in the beginning itself. We generally speak of the 6 virtues: Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Samadhana, Shraddha. He discusses each one of them in the beginning. Control of the senses, discipline of the senses, then discipline of the mind, then faith in truth, faith in the divine that is within, faith in other human beings, calmness of mind. Several virtues are mentioned here. With these virtues only, we can undertake this great adventure. It is like the equipment you carry for climbing Mount Everest. You need those equipments, otherwise you will never be able to reach the top. So in spiritual life, these are called sampat, equipments, wealth that you carry with you. They are moral virtues. That has been said. Having got all this, you seek a teacher who can help you in the matter. He knows the way. We don't know the way. Those who know the way can show those who are in search of that way. And so the qualification of the teacher is given here in beautiful verses. Qualification of the student, qualification of the teacher. And teacher's qualification is his compassion. A man who has realized truth and is full of compassion. He helps others like spring. Vasantavat lokahitam charantaha. Nature is smitten, dead by the touch of winter. And spring comes, gives a touch. Nature bursts into activity. All beauty comes out. Similarly, this man is like a spring coming to your life. You are depressed, you are ignorant, you don't know the way. He comes and cheers you. Vasantavat lokahitam charantaha. Tirna swayam bhima bhavarnavam janan ahetuna anyanapi tarayantaha. Having crossed the ocean of samsara himself, out of compassion, he comes and says, I want to take you. I am here to help you. That compassion is the special quality of a great teacher. Buddha had compassion. Krishna had compassion. Rama, Shankaracharya, Ramakrishna, Vivekananda. They did everything out of pure compassion for human beings. They didn't expect even a word of thanks for what they do to society. Having got this, the verse will say, he goes to the teacher of this nature and pours out his heart's problems. He has been wrestling with the problem of truth. What is the world in which we live? What is my nature? What is my destiny? These are all great spiritual and philosophical questions that agitate every seeking mind in every part of the world. Shankara takes this wonderful mental questions and attitudes, makes them universal and present here. Whether you are in the west or in the east or anywhere, these questions will agitate the human mind. So, he is asking this question. It is formulated in a small particular statement here. What kind of question we ask usually? It is, I have been nursing this problem. I have found a teacher in you. Now let me put my question to you. The guru, after honoring the teacher, he puts this question. Swamin namaste, nataloga bantho, karunya sintho, patitam bhavabdhav, mamuddharatmiya kataksha drishtya, say rujvadi karunya sudhabhivristya. Hey Swamin, oh Master, I salute you. Namaste. Nataloga bantho. You are a friend of those who come and salute you and show regard and love for you. You are an ocean of compassion. Karunya sindhu. Then patitam bhavabdhav mam. I have fallen in this ocean of worldliness. I want to get out. I am struggling, keeping my nose up above the water. Rescue me.
from this difficult situation. This is the feeling of every spiritual aspirant. When a man is entirely worldly, he doesn't feel this. When he knows there is something higher, then this feeling will come. This is not enough. There is something better. There is something better. How to get out of it? This questing mind is represented in these various verses. Then this wonderful teacher says, I shall certainly help you. I give you fearlessness. Dadyadabhitim sahasa mahatma. You have nothing to fear. Why? There is a path which if you can walk over, you will realize the truth for yourself. This kind of thing. Ma bhaishta vidwan. Don't fear. Oh, wise person, there is a way. Others have gone by the way, and I will show you the way. That's how he puts it. Then he tells here, what is the question? Shishya uvacha. The whole subject of spiritual life is presented in the form of a dialogue between a disciple and a teacher. That is more easy to comprehend in a dialogue form. The Gita also is a dialogue. Krishna and Arjuna. Here is a sincere seeker. Here is a great teacher. You can see in Ramakrishna's life what a tremendous urge in him to realize God. Then teachers came. Bhairavi Brahmani, Protapuri, so many teachers came. And Ramakrishna got help from all of them in our own time. Here, the Shishya or the disciple is now submitting his problem to the teacher. Shishya uvacha, kripaya shruyatam swamin, prashnoyam kriyare maya, yaduttara maham shrutva, kritarthasyam bhavan mukhat. Please listen to me when I put forth my problems before you. Please listen to them with great compassion and enlighten me on these problems. Then he is putting his problem before the teacher. And this is the problem that afflicts you, afflicts me, afflicts millions of seekers all over the world. It's very nicely put here. The rest of the book is the answer to these questions. Ko nama bandha, kathamesha agataha, katham pratisthasya katham vimoksha, ko savanatma, paramakka atma, tayor viveka kathameda duchyatam. Please tell me, O sir, O master, what is this called bondage? Bondage, what is it? You feel bondage, you don't know what it is. So, ko nama bandha, kathamesha agataha. How has it come into my life, this bondage? Katham pratishtha, how is it established now in my life and work? Katham vimoksha, how can I get out of this bondage? Then, kosau anatma, what is this thing called not self? Paramah ka atma, what is the supreme self? Tayor viveka, what is the discrimination between the two? Please tell me all these subjects. This is what every people do when they feel bondage is irksome. We want to free ourselves from it. When India was in subjection, we asked this question, what is this called subjection? Yes, you have no freedom to do what you like. You are circumscribed by foreign power. Then we want to get out of it. How to do it? Great leaders came and helped us to get out of this bondage. That is political bondage. Similarly, a bigger bondage is there. And you are seeing it today. Politically, we are free from bondage. But there are more bound souls in India today than we were not free, when we were not free. The people were more free-minded then. They could sacrifice for the nation. They could serve the nation. Today we want to squeeze the nation for personal advantage. We are deep in bondage just now. That bondage is spiritual, moral. That's what we want to liberate ourselves from. That's why this book and books like this are of great importance to our people. Why am I selfish? Why am I not caring for others? Why am I become corrupt? Why a little 5 rupee note can immediately make me fall down without any strength in me? What is all this? It is good that people ask this question. So all these questions that keep us tied down to the petty life. Man born for infinite development is tied down to a petty life. These questions must be burned into our souls today. And when we begin to ask these questions, we turn to these books, VIVEKACHUDAMANI, Upanishads, Gita, Buddha's teaching of the great world teachers, and Ramakrishna, Vivekananda. All these books will begin to speak to us only when we put this question. Here is a disciple who puts a question on behalf of all of us. 1,200 years ago, he wrote this book. How many thousands and thousands have benefited from this book? Tayor Viveka. What is the discrimination between my little self and the Supreme Self, and the world and that Supreme Self? Viveka, discrimination. The book is called VIVEKACHUDAMANI. Mani means gem. Chuda means head. The gem that you wear on the head. The more costly a gem, the more it finds a place on the head. An ordinary gem you may wear on your feet. But if it is a high-cost gem, you want to wear it here. What is that gem? Viveka, discrimination. The best gem that you can have. In all human life, this Viveka, discrimination, plays a great part. And the instrument of discrimination in man is known as Buddhi. Buddhi is the instrument of discrimination. Viveka, Atmika, Buddhi. It helps you to discriminate. If things come mixed up, you discriminate. As our rice comes mixed up with a lot of sand, we just winnow it. That winnowing is discrimination. Separate the stone. We want to eat rice, not stone. And our people are clever to mix stone with rice. You need lot of discrimination, even in daily life today. What to speak of higher life? So Viveka is an important function. That man who puts stone in earth, stone in rice, he also must have Viveka. Why do I do this? I deprive many people of a happy life. Let me not do it. Viveka will do immense good to all our people today. That's why this book's title itself is so marvelous. VIVEKACHUDAMANI, the crushed jewel of discrimination. And the master, Shankaracharya, master of language, master of ideas, infinite purity, infinite compassion. That is this great Shankaracharya who came in our country in the 8th century AD, lived only 32 years, walked all over this country, from Kerala to Kashmir, Kedar Badri, and established this profound philosophy, Advaita, non-duality, oneness. We are all one. Whatever may be differences in skin color, social status, religion, we are essentially one. That Advaitic vision he upheld, and this is the cream of the message of the Upanishads. Within a short period of 32 years, he changed the mind of India. India is not a banana republic with 200,000 population. It's a huge continent. To change the mind of a nation like this is not easy. But he had that power, intellectual power, spiritual strength, and intense activity, never resting anywhere. That is Shankaracharya. You heard just in the beginning Swami Paramarthananda's songs, one of the great songs of Shankaracharya. You have enough wealth in you. Shankara says, still your mind will ask this question, what next, what next, what next? You have power in your hands. Again this question will ask, what next, what next? Until you realize this truth, the heart will always be restless. What a beautiful idea. In the Old Testament, in the Psalms are beautiful prayers and hymns in the Old Testament. In one Psalm, you find this sentence, our hearts are restless till they rest in Thee. That is the nature of man. Our hearts will continue to be restless till the heart finds a place at the feet of God. So, tatakim, 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 tatakim. Shankaracharya sang. That was the stotra or hymn that Swami Paramarthananda sang before the bell rang here. And so, Tayor Viveka Kathamera Duchyatam. As soon as the Guru heard this question from the student, he was very happy. And he praises the disciple. Dhanyosi, Kritagrityosi, pavitam te kulam tvaya yad avidyabandha muktya brahmi bhavitam ichhasi. You are blessed, you are fulfilled, that you want to overcome avidya, ignorance, and realize your true nature as the Atman. What a blessed thing it is. People eat and drink and fight and quarrel and behave like little worms, spitting their venoms on each other. They don't know this higher value. But you have asked this. You are unique. You are blessed. That is how the Guru appreciates the student. There is need for mutual respect, mutual love, mutual appreciation. If education is to be really effective, our teachers always emphasize this point, harmony between teacher and student, not confrontation. In education there is no confrontation, but confrontation of mind with mind at a high intellectual level. That will give you the ignition of knowledge. Knowledge is illumination. That is needed in all education. So, in a series of verses, the Guru praises the disciple, that attitude of the mind of the disciple. If you have debt, your children can pay off your debt. But if you are hungry, no children can help you there. You must eat for yourself. Similarly, if you are in bondage, nobody else can take your bondage away. You have to do it yourself. That stress is there in a series of verses given here. And then, one by one, he takes up the subject. Ko nama bandha. What is this bondage? Kathamesha agataha. How it has come. In about 140 verses, we studied last year answers to these questions. Bondage. We started studying this body. This is the most obvious thing that I have. What is the nature of this body? We analyze the body. Then inside the body, you find the nervous system containing nervous energy, emotional energy. We study the nervous system. Then you find the psychic system. These are called koshas in Sanskrit, in our Vedanta philosophy. Coverings. Kosha means a covering, a sheath. Man is covered by 5 sheaths. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. That subject comes up here. Let us study this man at close quarters. First we find this external body. It is only like a house in which you live. A base, that is all. Go deeper. Other dimensions of the human individuality will come up. This subject is treated particularly in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Shankaracharya treats it here in dealing with the subject. And having studied all these aspects of the human personality, he says, these are all perishable. These are all changeable. Your true self is none in none of them. Neither in the body, nor in the nervous system, nor in the psychic system. In none of these, nor in the ego presiding over this genetic system. In none of these is your true self. In a series of beautiful verses, this truth has been expounded here. And in one particular verse, he gives here, verse 75 or so, says, we need a spiritual technology to discover this truth. Just like we have geological technology. If there is oil in the earth, if there is gold hidden in the earth, or a treasure is hidden somewhere, we know how to dig it, remove all the obstacles like rocks, finally catch hold of the treasure. I am rich, you can say. Then, first we approach an expert, technical expert. He will say where to seek for the treasure. That is called the teacher. Then you do the technique yourself, digging and all these things. Finally you say, now I have got the treasure, I am rich. Similarly, this Atman, the infinite truth hidden in all of us, is hidden so much. First you must hear how to approach the subject from a teacher. Then start digging that inward penetration. Finally, you catch hold of the truth. I have discovered the truth. Then you are free. Then you are free. Process is the same. There it is external. Here it is internal. There is truth about dull, dead nature. Here is truth about man himself, his own infinite dimension. All this were told in various verses here. Then he said, these 5 koshas can be divided into 3 bodies. This external body is the grossest body that we have. We call it in Sanskrit Sthula Sharira, gross body. Is this all that we have? No. Within the Sthula Sharira, there is a subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, that consists of the sensory energies and psychic energies combined, and also all the impressions of past experiences, vasanas, samskaras, all these are lying in our subconscious mind. That whole subconscious, unconscious complex constitute our Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. Generally we speak of the body only, this external, physical, gross body. But that is not. This is just a showpiece. The real body of the individual is this subtle body. What works, what thinks, what feels, what establishes human relations, what suffers pain, sorrow, all that is this subtle body. This gross body is an external facade of the real body, namely the Sukshma Sharira. Within that Sukshma Sharira, there is one more subtle body, more subtle, Karana Sharira, causal body. So Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira. Then he tells you what is the state of life in which each body manifests. Then comes a study of the three states, waking, dream and sleep. It is a profound study in Vedanta. In modern times, in the West, we have just started studying the second state, namely dream. Waking, we studied even in the West. But dream came only recently, from Freud onwards. Great significance attaches to the study of dream. But the West has studied dream mostly for clinical purposes, for treatment of psychic diseases, not in the pursuit of truth. Though as a byproduct, some new knowledge also comes of this human individuality. But in India, apart from study of dream, we also studied the meaning of the deep sleep state, Sushupti Avastha. So we call it Avasthatraya, the methodology of the three states. The one Upanishad that has done this wonderful work is the shortest among all the Upanishads, known as Mandukya Upanishad. There this subject is discussed, and much more elaborately in Gaudapada's Karika on the Mandukya Upanishad and Shankaracharya's commentary on Gaudapada Karika. That book is marvelous. Upanishad, Karika and Shankara's commentary. There this subject is beautifully dealt with. By this investigation, Vedanta discovered the infinite dimension of man. We are the Atman. You are that. You are that. As the Upanishad would put it, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. You are not this tiny ego, because its function is only in the waking state. This ego functions only in the waking state. It presides over this physical body. When you go to dream, this ego vanishes. He has no reference there. That's why if you are a poor man in the waking state, you can become a rich man in the dream state. That ego is not there. A rich man can become poor in the dream state. These states are different. Egos are different. And in sleep state, both disappear. The ego disappears and the world also disappears. Object, subject, everything gone. That's the nature of sleep. What does this mean so far as truth is concerned? Man's true nature is concerned. That is the nature of this investigation known as Avasthatraya Prakriya, the methodology of the three states. That is the primary experiential methodology adopted by Vedanta to establish this great truth that we are the infinite Atman. That truth is going to be communicated to the student through him, to all of us, in the succeeding verses of this great book. Here, they deal with this subject. In the waking state, this Sthula Sharira is prominent. As soon as you go to the dream state, Sthula Sharira goes away. It has no more function. That's why Ramakrishna said, I quoted yesterday's words, a man is very rich and powerful, very arrogant he is in the waking state. When he goes to sleep in that dream state, if a child spits on his face, he will not be there to protest against it. He is not there. He is absolutely different there. all that arrogance and power have no function there. So you can see a strange change coming from this transition from waking to dream, and still further dream to sleep. So this ego functions only in the waking state. I am rich, I am powerful, I am this, I am that, all based upon this waking body. It cannot be applied when you are in dream or in sleep. There is another ego coming in the dream state. And so the dream state, the mind is supreme, not the sthula sharira. That sukshma sharira is supreme in the dream state. You can see it clearly. The mind creates objects. Mind creates experiences. Mind experiences them. Sorrow, joy, everything. All mind is functioning, everything there. Then he deals with all the three states. In sushupti, just a sense of joy, happiness, nothing else. No object, no subject, nothing is there. This must be eliminated. These are not our true form. That is how the argument was going on, dealing with all these conditions. In dealing with this subject of the three bodies, Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira, Karana Sharira, the subject of Maya came in. Maya with its two forces, hiding power and revealing power, projecting power. Avarana Shakti, Viksheba Shakti. That is a wonderful fact of human experience. Just like the sun. When a cloud covers the sun, that's called Avarana Shakti. All the energy of the sun is cut off. That is the nature of Avarana Shakti. Then what happens? Cold winds begin to blow. You feel chill. That is projecting power. That particular cloud has these two powers. It hides the sun and makes for cold and suffering for us here. Similarly, this infinite Atman is hidden by Maya with its Avarana Shakti. Just like when you do something wrong, first your identity is forgotten. You forget your own identity. Then only you can do serious wrong. That's called Avarana Shakti. When the real nature of man is covered, he behaves in a wrong way. That is the projecting power. In human life, this operation of Maya is constantly evident. First, something hiding my true nature. Then I misbehave in various forms. That is Maya. When we become corrupt in our public life, you can see both these operations there. First, we forget our own true form, our own true nature, our family connection, our honorable family background, everything is forgotten. And then we do evil, distort national life, national economy by that wrong action. Avarana, Vikshepa. So he dealt with these wonderful ideas of Vedanta. Maya is a fact of existence. It's not a theory. We live in Maya. We work in Maya. As Vivekananda said, we are thieves in Maya, criminals in Maya, virtuous people in Maya, saints in Maya. Everything is going on in Maya. One is that which pulls you down. The other is what pulls you up. Maya is two dimensions. This is a great discussion here. In Ramakrishna's Gospel also, you find that discussion. Avidya Maya, Vidya Maya. The heart of man becoming the playground of Maya. Avidya Maya taking us down. Vidya Maya lifting us up. And we have the choice. Though everything is in Maya, we have the choice to choose which aspect of Maya should be ours. When you begin to exercise that choice, your life goes up. You become moral. You become steady. That spiritual growth begins from then. If you just take Maya for granted, you don't struggle against it. You are like the animal. Animals never struggle against Maya. They are nature's products. And this nature is Maya. Eating, drinking, going on systematically. A lion is hungry. He just moves and finds a goat there, or a sheep, or a deer. He pounces upon it, eats it. It's all part of his life. It is Maya. He doesn't question it. He doesn't struggle against it. If man also behaves like that, he is deep in Maya. Eating, drinking, cheating people, one day dying away. He has forgotten his real dignity. Infinite possibility hidden within him, he has ignored. When he exercises that freedom, he begins to question, why should I do this? Why not I become the playground of the other aspect of Maya, Vidya Maya, enlightening Maya? That will be a wonderful thing. That is from where you begin to march in moral and spiritual life. When the heart becomes the playground of Vidya Maya, you start your new life. That is not enough. That is animal life. It's good for animals. They are subject to Maya, subject to nature. But there is another nature in me. That higher nature I shall now express. This resolution puts man on the path of his moral and spiritual growth. In the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, there is that utterance, Mayam tu prakritim vidyat, Mayinam tu maheshwaram. Consider nature as Maya. Consider the Lord as the Lord of Maya. God is beyond this Maya. We are also aligned with Him. We are not essentially subject to Maya. We have become subject to it. We have evolved from the animal level to this level. Animals still sticking to us. There you fight against it. No, I shall cease to be an animal. I have got this cerebral system which can help me to go beyond this limitation. That is how freedom begins. That third verse said, be born as a human being. That's a great blessing. But the second blessing is the best. Struggle to be free. Then only you are a true human being. Otherwise you are like an animal in the shape of a human being. That's Sanskrit expression. Manusya rupena mrigas charanti. So many beasts in the form of men and women. That should not be. So this Maya, having two dimensions, avidya, vidya. This Vidya Shakti or Vidya Maya takes us on the road of morality, humanistic impulse, service, dedication. All the positive virtues begin to appear in a human being when he or she becomes subject to this Vidya Maya, Vidya Shakti, as Ramakrishna often used to say. That subject is discussed here very much in various forms. Finally, the teaching is given. Give up this attachment to the body. Then only you can march higher and higher. This is just a cage in which we are. By attachment to the body, we commit all sorts of evil things. We cannot expand in sympathy, compassion. Why do I rob somebody? You read in the paper every day. A group went and robbed a family in the outskirts of Hyderabad. Find out the psychology of those people. They are attached to this body. They want to fatten it, eat and drink. They don't care what happens to others. No feeling for others at all. The tyranny of the body on the mind of man makes for life stagnation. That has to be stirred. The water must flow. Life must grow beyond this body limitation. So in one sloka he said there, Dehohamityeva janasya buddhi. The jada mind, the very obtuse mind, will think, I am this body and nothing else. The second type of mind, more refined, Dehetu jiva vidhushastvahamdhi. The enlightened man will say, I am a soul in this body, caught up in this body, struggling to free from the bondages of this body. That is the second type. But Viveka Vijnanavato Mahatmano Brahmahamityeva Matid Sadatmani. Those who have Viveka and Vijnana, such great minds, they realize the final truth. I am that supreme Brahman, beyond all this Maya. I am one with all. That infinite realization will come to such people. These are the three levels. And so, the book says, give up this attachment to the body. Then your growth will begin. You can love people, serve people. You can love the other bodies also. Care for them. If I care only for my body, I want everybody to care for my body. I also care for my body. Self-centered, selfish, petty, mean. That should not be. Use the body as a servant of all. How to help people, how to serve people. That is spiritual growth. So in various verses, these ideas are given. So in these slokas,